2. Yes, it is starting. I'll tell you when. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are here in my Exceed Limitless program. I'm your host, Olga Binyaminov, and today we have a truly special guest, Luba Yudkovich. She's a holistic coach. She's a Reiki master, a founder of One Vibe Tribe. Luba is such a committed person to guiding women through healing, transformation, spiritual awakening. Her work is integrated with energy healing, subconscious reprogramming, and Jewish spiritual wisdom to help women reconnect with their true selves. Because this month we're talking about character building, I've invited Luba for this podcast to talk about the role of character in personal and spiritual growth. So just to preview, for those of you that don't know, character is the foundation of who you are. It shapes our choices, our relationships, and the way we navigate life challenges. As the saying goes, reputation is what men and women think of us. Character is what God and angels know of us. Luba, welcome. I'm so excited to have this conversation with you today.
Thank you so much for having me. This is so exciting to be here. It's my first live podcast. So I'm going to preempt by saying, be patient. This is a really exciting topic because, all spiritual work starts with the self. All personal healing and transformation starts with the self. And what is character? Character is your word. It's who you are. It's the things that you do when no one is looking. It's your behavior. It's the way you show up in every single moment of your life. And I always go back to the moment, like, are you that person who puts back that shopping cart? Because that's the character when no one is looking, right? Or you're like, someone else will do it. So those are the kind of little things that translate into every little things in your life. Are you going to be responsible for yourself? Are you going to do the right thing for yourself? Or are you going to just throw it out and let someone else do it for you? Right? So it all comes back to us. Who are we?
Absolutely. It's so important what you said. It's who we are when no one else is watching. It's not just about the actions we take. The interactions behind our actions is what's important. True character builds through small, consistent choices that we make, right? Whether the choice is honesty over convincing, kindness over indifference, or resilience over giving up.
Right.
I just want to tell you all. Yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I just want to tell you all that there is a great quote by John Wooden. He says, be more concerned with your character than your reputation, because your character is what you really are, while your reputation is merely what other thinks of you. And transformation happens when we align the actions with our deep values, even when it's difficult.
Right. It's very true. Transformation is your truth, right? Like it's coming back to who you truly are, not who you've sort of created based on your upbringing, society, what's expected of you. It's who you are at the core. It's your essence. And reputation is through someone else's lens based through their experience.
Right. And unfortunately, many of us operate on conditioning, not really through true character. So how can someone begin to distinguish between who we truly are and who they have been taught to be?
I think it starts with asking yourself and checking in with yourself. How does it feel when I'm doing it? No matter what you say, no matter where you show up, your behavior, your thoughts, your emotions, how are they making you feel? Because if they're not making you feel good, they're not your truth. Your truth, when you're in alignment, it feels good in your body. You don't question it. You know automatically. It's a knowing. It's an inner knowing. And it takes time to quiet the outside noise and and restructure the conditioning and come back to yourself. And that takes a lot of time with yourself. It takes time being honest with yourself, sitting in the muck, because you're going to go through a lot of the emotional muck is going to come. And once you get to your core and see your essence, it's a foundation that you begin to build upon. And it's sort of the beginning of who you really are, what's possible in your life, your own truth, like your personal legend, as they say in the transformation world. You have to go through your hero's journey to get to your personal legend.
Absolutely. Most most of our beliefs about ourselves are actually shaped by childhood experiences, by society, and even trauma that we're going through. We
Right.
learn from very early age to seek approval, to suppress our emotions, to fit into roles that assign to us. And one of the ways that I use to really exercise is journaling the shoulds. Write down everything you feel that you should be, or you should do, or you should have. And then ask yourself, do I actually want this? Does it actually aligns with my soul? What is one practice that you would do, Luba?
I like to just be with myself in silence. A lot of times when people are home, they have the TV on, they have the radio on. I like to be with myself, with my own thoughts. And it's not always, an easy practice, but I feel like the best time and the most information or downloads that I get or like discoveries is when I'm sitting with myself in silence. And I know the word meditation gets thrown around and it can be anything. Meditation can look like anything. Many of my friends know that I'm that crazy woman who likes to iron. I find ironing very peaceful. And for me, that's a form of meditation, right? Because you're focusing on one thing. And so those are the moments where I have clarity and I have a very long yoga practice. For me also, when I'm really present in that moment are the moments where, you know, the real truth comes in, and once you get that muscle going, it kind of, how to drop into those moments when you need to. But it's a muscle that you need to consistently, work.
It's incredible that you're mentioning it. About 2 months ago, we did a book club on mindfulness, the miracle of mindfulness. This is exactly what it is. It's washing the dishes with the act of washing dishes, to actually focus on the act. And I think it's a lot more powerful than just meditation.
It
Meditation,
is.
yeah, meditation is something people say, but without mindfulness, you can't achieve the same internal clarity, to quiet down all that external noise with our inner truth. That's when it starts emerging. When you do
Exactly.
reading work,
Exactly.
it's so important, and I love that. So, how does inner healing, whether through subconscious work that you do of ourselves, that we have the energy of healing or spiritual practice, how does this help shape and strengthen our character?
So I believe that each one of us is born with a gift, and I feel each one of us has the power to heal ourselves. And what's happening is that we have been conditioned and programmed to give away our power to others. And the more you spend time with yourself, the more you connect with yourself, you step into your own power.
Yeah,
When you step into your own power, you have the capacity to make the right choices for yourself. And that's really when you build the character and when personal transformation and growth is that you choose you. You choose you no matter what. And it's going to be uncomfortable for a lot of people when you begin to choose yourself because they're not going to understand it because they're used to the old version of you. And what does that look like? And then it becomes a little threatening to the outside world. Well, now you're choosing yourself. That seems selfish.
right.
Not selfish, it's self-care. It's aligning with your truth. And when you align with your truth, then you flow through life. You don't beat up on yourself because you've spoken your truth. And even if it's uncomfortable, it is what it is, and it's going to have to be. And
Yeah.
it's just a matter of accepting it. It's full acceptance of the choices you make for yourself.
For sure. I think it's about integration, right? Bringing together the fragments part of ourselves that
Right.
we're suppressing, that we're rejecting. Many people just carry those wounds that cause them to act from a peace or place of fear, from defensiveness, from self-doubt. And when we heal, what we do is we begin to respond to life differently.
100%. 100%.
Instead
And I
of,
want to touch on the generational trauma part of us. Like we both are immigrant women with Jewish descent, and our lineage has gone through so much. And the female lineage has been struggling and suffering and suppressed for so many years. And in the healing world, it's a known fact that we hold our ancestral trauma 7 generations back.
yes,
So can you imagine 7 generations of pogroms, the Holocaust, being thrown out of our countries, our homes, losing everything. So that constant underlying fear for survival is always going to be in there. So it's this generation, me, you, that we have an opportunity to break that cycle and to clean it up. So 7 generations forward, our children and our great children, and God willing, so on, don't have to do it for us. So this is the time that we get to do the work that our ancestors were not able to do. And there's so much gratitude that we have this opportunity and that we are in this moment in time where we have been given this chance to do it. So I think it's a beautiful, it's both, a blessing and a curse because it is a lot of work to break that generational trauma. But each one of us has the capacity to do it. We don't have to be the victim. We don't have to suffer. Suffering is optional. We have a choice to be happy. It's something that you can be. You don't have to be who you're, your the energy of your family, system was. So it's all available to us. And the more we work on ourselves, the easier it becomes.
that's truly fascinating, Luba. And I think that ties in it with Kabbalah, which I took several classes of. It's just amazing that in many spiritual traditions, and I include Judaism, but it's not the only tradition that ties into it. Character is something that we refine over time. So, what are some key spiritual principles that can help people develop strong character?
I think gratitude. I feel like gratitude has to be one of the most important things. In Judaism, we wake up and we say this prayer Modiani, right? We're grateful that our soul was restored into our body. And there's so many things in life that we are lucky enough to have, that we can say thank you to, right? We live a beautiful life. We have a beautiful family. We have so many things that we can say thank you for, right? Why not choose that instead of looking at what's not working? There's always going to be things that are not working in your life, but why focus on that when you can focus on the good things? Those are temporary. That's going to come in and you're going to work it out. You're going to figure it out. At the end, we figure everything out, but it's how you show up in those moments that defines your character.
Yeah, and I'm going to focus on Judaism specifically because that's the religion I practice. And Jewish really teaches us to emphasize on midot, which is moral and ethical characteristic traits. And some foundations of that is emet, savlanut, and kindness, right? So we have
I
truth.
said,
Yeah, chesed. So we have truth, which is living in alignment with our deeper truth. We have patience because we're learning to pause and respond thoughtfully on things that happen. And sometimes we don't understand why certain things happen, but just pause and think
right.
before responding. And then, of course, kindness, acting with compassion, even when it's hard. It's so difficult. Gratitude is definitely one of them, as you mentioned. And I think once you have those, it integrates very
Absolutely.
well with gratitude.
Absolutely. And it's all positive emotions. It's focusing on what's working in your life, right? Being kind to others. Like, yes, other people may not have what you have, but other people are struggling or other people are going through things and you can offer it to them. Why not?
Yeah.
And I love the pause and I focus and I talk about that pause all the time, right? Like, we don't pause enough. If the pause is so easy to with, just stop. Just for a second, stop.
Yeah.
Once you stop, that energy, like you can redirect it to wherever you want it. But if you're gonna that second be like a fire, like a flame, what happens with the flame? You destroy everything around you.
Yeah. I'll just touch on very briefly on Kabbalah. That's what they say. Pause and say, what a pleasure.
Yeah,
Because,
thank you. Thank
yeah.
you for this
And
opportunity.
yes, thank you for the opportunity. I think it's very important to thanks for the opportunity, even though sometimes we don't really understand what this opportunity really means. But one
Right.
principle that I really love, it's called Tikkun Olam, which is the
Mhm.
repair of the world.
World.
The
Yeah,
idea is that you refine your own character, and by this, you contribute to the healing of the world.
correct.
And
Right.
we
And
can
it starts with us. It
it,
all starts with us.
absolutely. And we, a lot of times we hear that character really reveal, the person's character is revealed when times are difficult.
Right.
So how,
When you're like squeezed, that's when everything starts coming out. In the good days, you're like, when everything is working, you're not squeezed. You're like, oh, I'm good. But when life is squeezing you and the real character starts showing up. So that's the moment where you can really like see it as a gift and shown something. What do
yeah,
I do with it?
yeah. So how can someone reframe those challenges as an opportunity for growth rather than an actual obstacle?
Right. And I love that you brought that up. The reframing is so important, in changing the way you think about things. And, everything in life is a dichotomy, right? There's like good, there's bad, there's black, there's white. And the same thing with the way we think. We have an opportunity to see everything as a no, it's not. And it's a muscle, like I said, like everything else. We are programmed to always think negative. The world is ending. It's the, fear, worry, like all the vibrations. How do you elevate, right? And that's the thing with Tikkun Olam, change the world, change yourself. We are here to correct and to elevate our souls, to evolve, right? What is evolution? We evolve. Every day we try to be a better version of ourselves. And so if we are able to look at ourselves and see, okay, this is a gift. How this happened. What am I going to learn from it? And maybe you don't see this mint, right? Because a lot of things are concealed from us, but trust and surrender that this is for your highest good. And
It's
when you
so true.
trust and surrender, things just begin to open up because everything is orchestrated by God. We are just partners with God. We're co-creating, but we have to trust and surrender in that process.
I love this, Luba. You have no idea how much it resonates with me at this moment. And hearing this, it's just unbelievable. I love the concept of post-traumatic growth because it's the idea of how hardships actually can make us stronger. And it brings me to memory of a book that I read, and I recommend that to everyone who is going through hardship. Viktor Frankl, who
Mm,
a Holocaust survival, and he's a
yeah,
psychologist. He said, when we are no longer able to change the situation, we are challenged to change ourselves.
right.
So instead of asking, why is it happening to me? Ask, what is it teaching me?
Yeah,
Every challenge is really a mirror reflection of where we can grow.
right,
So many people struggle to show up as their authentic selves.
right.
So, how can we develop the courage to live in alignment with our highest self?
I think community is has to be one of the most important things. Man is not an island. We don't do, we're not meant to do things on our own. I think that having a support system and having people in your life to reflect back to you, to hold your hand, to hold space for you, to see the authentic, real you, and help you gently, um, you know, find your way.
It's
I think
incredible.
community has to be one of the most important things. When I started doing my work, I was lucky enough to, have a beautiful community to support me. And since then, my community has grown, and I think it's one of the biggest gifts that I've been given. And so when I started the One Vibe Tribe, it was my way of giving back. It's like
Oh,
I have a community to hold me. I want to be able to hold someone else. And now that there's so many in the communities growing, and it's been like incredible. And I'm honestly so deeply touched and humbled, and it's like overwhelming at times, but I think it's so beautiful to see the women support each other, to reflect back to them that we're all going through the same struggles. We have a lot of the same issues and challenges. Many of us have the same backgrounds, the same conditioning, the same parenting, and so on. And so to see that we are all in it together and to reflect back to each other what's possible, I think has to be one of the biggest gifts that I have been given, and I'm trying to give back.
Yeah, and it's so important. It's so important. The way that I feel is that ego is acting from fear a lot of times, and it has this very strong will of protecting us. So courage is what we need to develop at those moments because courage is a muscle. We build it by taking small steps.
Right.
And one thing I always recommend my clients, and you said community and support, and the support system is so important. I have my support system, which is incredible. I have my good friends. And one of the exercises I always give my clients, and I actually have done this myself, is writing a letter to self, which I have here for myself as well. Write a letter to self and imagine 10 years from now and really sit down and write down everything you want from yourself. It's a letter to your future self. And when you do that, you just basically writing what you know by what you want to live fully in alignment. And what advice would you give?
A beautiful exercise. Beautiful.
So, what's one common limited belief that you see that holds people back from stepping into their higher character? And how can they shift it?
I feel like a lot of the people, they don't believe that they're the one, right? We always look at everybody like, oh, they've been the chosen one. It comes easy to them, it's just like they're born with it.
Yeah.
Yes, some have greater, let's say, skill sets or greater gifts. However, we all have some sort of gift. We all have greatness in it. And each one is just like each one of us has a different fingerprint. Each one of us has a different greatness. And so somebody else's greatness is not your greatness. Your version of greatness and who you are and what that looks like can be completely different, but it's still greatness. So it's
Mhm.
not about comparison. It's about, are you being the best version of who you are? It's an individual accomplishment. It's not to be compared with anything else. And so when people are like, I'm trying to be great, well, you really are great. You just have to see it.
I love
Open your eyes to that. It's
it.
there for you. Are you going to be, are you able to accept it? Are you able to take that in? Because a lot of time we already have what we want. We're not able to take it in. We can't hold it.
It's a huge one. And I think it's all this fear of I'm not good enough,
Right.
right? This belief is so deep and it's integrated in so many of us. I'm not good enough to have it. I'm not good enough to be that. I'm not
Like,
good
why
enough.
me? Why would it be me? I'm not the one,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And I think the best way to shift it, in my opinion, is really affirmations. Take it deeper by just saying it over and over. Affirm, I am worthy. Ask yourself, how would a worthy person act today? Act according to your worthiness.
I have to say, like, throughout my childhood, and like, I've noticed something about myself. I've always sort of found people in outside world, not say it's somebody that I know or somebody that I would like, like would catch my eye and I'd be like, that's the kind of person I want to be. That's the energy. Like that's how I want to show up in the world, right? So pick somebody that when you see you want to align with, like you would choose that person as your friend or you would want to be that person, right? And see what qualities about that person speak to you because
So
that's a
important.
reflection. That's a reflection of who you want to be.
It's so important because you are the five people you spend most time with.
Mm.
If you want to have good energy, you surround yourself with good energy people. If you want to be successful, surround yourself with
Yeah.
successful people. Because are you gonna hang out with friends that drink beer all day if that's not your drive?
Right.
You
Exactly.
build your character.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Luba, can you suggest what small daily practice can help someone strengthen their character?
I think the first thing in the morning you should do is not turn your phone on.
Yes.
I think the first thing in the morning you should do is just maybe sit at the edge of your bed, close your eyes and just be for a minute. Because we all have a tendency to jump out of our bed, and that's the energy you start your day with. So if you start your day and you set an intention, if you shower in the morning, set an intention in the shower. And somebody I met just recently, a couple of days ago, she goes, when I shower, I set my intention. So if you're that person who showers in the morning, set your intention for the day. But I think it's so important just to sit in silence, just to be, even if you're looking out the window into the trees, even just be. Like, I don't think we give ourselves enough time to be. We're constantly doing, but we're actually human beings. So if we give ourselves an opportunity just to be, I think that is one of the biggest gifts you can give yourself.
Unbelievable. Yes. And I'm referring always to books because I read a lot and I get all that information and I keep it. And just reading a book and putting it back on the shelf, that becomes shelf help. I read self-help to really help myself. And this book, The 5 a.m. Club, talks exactly about this. It talks about the 20-20-20 method. I'll just briefly give that to people that want to practice this. The first thing you said is do not turn your phone first thing. It really ruins your day for the whole day. Just imagine you open the phone and there's a text message from
Oh,
your
doom
employee,
scrolling. It's doom.
or
Everything is
that.
bad.
Yes. Or just a message from your employee, I'm sick today, I'm not coming. What does it do to you? It ruins your whole
Yep.
routine
Your
because
entire insides, that the energy begins to shift. It's no longer
yes,
positive energy. You've
unbelievable.
just you've just reset your entire body and you're
Yeah.
coming out fresh. It's a whole new day. You have an opportunity to create whatever you want to create, but you've just thrown mud into that.
Yeah. So the 20-20-20 method, which is so unique, I don't know if you're familiar with that. The 5 a.m. club refers to own your morning, elevate your life. When you wake up in the morning, that's really making your day the way you set up the intentions or whatever you do. And the author goes and breaks it into 20-20-20. 20 minutes of exercise, 20 minutes of journaling, and 20 minutes of um, what was that? I'm blanking. 20 minutes of exercise, 20 minutes of journaling.
Maybe be nature, 20
No,
minutes
no,
of
no, no, no. I'm blinking for a second. I do that all the time and I'm
I'll come
blinking.
back to you.
It will come back to me. But basically what it does, and I hope somebody knows it and we'll just throw it in the chat. But when you wake up and you do that 20 minutes of exercise, oh, and 20-minute reading, that's what
There
it
you
is.
go.
So 20 minutes exercise, you really take your body and walk outside. Grounding is so important. I know in the winter it's cold and people don't do that, but really, if you put your feet on the ground, you're grounding yourself. You're creating this amazing energy that starts your day. If you want to do that first thing as soon as you woke up, then just make a quick walk. It's just so refreshing. It ties into what you said with mindfulness. This is when you become mindful, when you by yourself in nature. 20 minutes of journaling. Journaling is so important. If you can add gratitude to it. I had a gratitude challenge in November, which would just write 3 things you're grateful for day and night. Just write it. When you say thank you, the universe, God, whatever you believe, will send more things for you to be grateful for. And then 20 minutes of reading. Enrich your life with education. Read, read for life. Because scrolling through social media, looking through all those negative news does not elevate your life. And I feel that if you follow this 20-20-20 formula, your day is set in a way that it cannot fail. It just
I
simply
agree.
cannot
I agree.
fail.
And everything is energy, right? So
Everything is energy.
everything is energy.
And that's beautiful because that ties into my other question I have for you. How does our energy influence our character?
Oh, I mean, listen, if you're in a low vibration, you're going to be walking around very unhappy, constantly complaining, only seeing what's bad. You're going to be sick. What is disease? It's the vibration.
Yeah.
So it's all, it's all connected. I can go on for this for days, but like, everything is on a cellular level. We're all energy. Energy cannot be, destroyed. It can only be recreated. So it's all about, that's why I named my group, the One Vibe Tribe, because it's all about vibration. It's all about energy. And they say that your vibe attracts your tribe. So like, look at the people around you. Who have you attracted, right?
People in your group are incredible. They all have the same energy. I'm part of this group. It's incredible. We talk about the same thing. Energy is everything. Energy is just,
Energy is everything, everything. And a lot of times we take on other people's energies, but I think it's so important to do energy check-ins with yourself. How am I feeling? How does your inside feel? I feel like so many times people are so used to that nervous energy constantly, that stress energy. That's not normal. Your normal state of mind, of being, is peace, calm. Your stomach should not be turning on a daily basis. Your heart should not be dropping. You shouldn't constantly be like in this kind of vibration. You should be flowing through life. And yes, it's not easy. It's a practice. It's like anything else. It's a muscle, it's a practice. And yes, you do have a choice, and you have a choice to see life through different lenses. What lens are you looking through?
yeah, especially when life throws at you so many things.
Oh, and it and
Remember,
it will, and it
yeah,
will.
it
Life is
will.
not linear. Life is
Yes,
not linear.
but it
Whoever
happens.
thinks life is linear, you're in the wrong planet. You're living the wrong life.
Absolutely. And life happens for you, not to you. Whatever happens is definitely has a purpose, has a reason. So when we heal those energy blockages that we have, we show up for more presence, more confidence, more alignment, more of everything.
We're in flow. We flow. We're really supposed to be flowing through life. And I always equate it to like the waves of the ocean, right? There's going to be highs, there's going to be lows, but we're still going. We're still moving. We're still going.
You're moving.
And it's in those moments, the highs and the lows, that's, in between we're just like this, but the highs and the lows, that's the character building.
Yeah. So for those of us, those of you guys that are watching, Luba, can you give them one advice for those that are feeling lost today? What one piece of advice that you can give them?
Breathe and hug yourself. There's nothing like holding yourself, hugging yourself, and loving yourself,
I
because
love this.
you are enough. You are enough. And you can give yourself everything that you are looking in the outside world. It's all inside.
Love it. Luba, I love it. This is such a great, simple advice. I would tell everyone that is watching us and struggling with things, I would tell them start small. Focus on one thing. Focus on one thing that you can embrace because character doesn't build in one day. It doesn't build
Muscle.
overnight.
It's a muscle.
It's refined. It's refined over choices that we make. So this choice of hugging yourself is a choice of self-love. And you can't love anyone until you love yourself.
And you can't expect others to love you the way you want to be loved until you love yourself.
This is incredible. Luba, thank you. This was
Thank
such
you so
incredible
much. Thank you. This is
wisdom.
beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you so much. I love having you in my tribe.
Thank you. It's my
Thank you so
pleasure.
much. Thank
Such a
you.
pleasure having you here. And guys, there are so much coming this month. This whole month, I'm talking about character. In a couple of days from now, I'll go live on something else that we talked about, self-esteem. We'll talk about you live once, so live it. There's
Exactly.
so many things. I have another guest on the 15th of April. He is Joe Rivera. He's also a coach. He climbed up from the bottom, the lowest bottom you can imagine. And he's a successful individual. He's a success coach. So there's so much that I want to bring to you guys. Tune into my channel. Stay in touch. Ask questions. We love having you. And thank you so much for this incredible session today.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's been so much fun. Thank you.
Until next time, exceed limitless. Bye.
Bye.